Hi, this is Jeanie Shea, your Hoover Realtor, and today I have the privilege of talking with Michael Weber, who is with Weber Mortgage. Welcome.
Thank you, Jeanie. Pleasure to be here.
So good to see you. So I learn something every time I talk with Michael. He is my go-to guy for all things mortgage because as a real estate agent, I know just enough to be dangerous. So any questions, all questions, I reach out to Michael. So he's just been such a huge help to me. And lately, Michael, I've been running into a lot of empty nesters, baby boomers like myself, that are kind of in that downsizing stage of life. And I've heard just a little bit about reverse mortgages, but I don't understand what they are, how they work. So would you share a few tips on, is it a smart thing to do? Is it not?
Absolutely, Jeanie. A reverse mortgage, I like to tell people, is just a tool in our toolbox of how to help people with their financing. And just like any tool, just like a hammer or anything else, if used improperly, it can do a lot of damage. But you can't build a house without a hammer. So every tool has its place. And a reverse mortgage is a fantastic tool for the people who need that tool. Essentially, a reverse mortgage, you're offering a future mortgage on your house against the equity in your home. And then there are different ways to access that, but because you have a high level of equity, you're never responsible for making a payment as long as you live in that home.
So wait a minute, am I getting ready to, if I'm using a reverse mortgage, am I getting ready to buy that downsize house?
You can, for sure. We have a lot of people who could pay cash for that house and will purchase it with cash and do a simultaneous reverse mortgage that they can access as they need. If you finance that house on the front end, you begin paying interest on that full balance of what you financed. If you do a reverse mortgage, you can set it up where you're only paying interest as you draw that equity out. So you're putting all your equity in on the front end and then you're drawing it back out over time. And again, you're never making a payment.
So you never make a payment?
On a reverse mortgage, as long as you occupy that house, any of the people that are on that loan, so with a couple, if the husband has to go into an assisted living center or something like that, if the wife is still in that home, you are never responsible. Even if you get into negative equity, even if you get upside down, you can never be held liable for a payment and you can never be put out of that house. You are responsible for your taxes and insurance, but not for making any payments.
So this falls in that category of kind of too good to be true. So what's the downside? Why would someone not do it?
Sure, the trade-offs are simple and there are several of them. The primary one is you're going to pay a slightly higher interest rate. So you're paying for the benefit of being able to use that equity to support yourself. Your mortgage balance is going up each month because you're not making a payment. There's still interest being charged and it's being added to the balance. And then also you can run into a downside with the fact that your heirs at some point are going to need to deal with this.
That was going to be my question. What happens when mom and dad move on? What are the kids left with?
Sure. So earlier I said as long as you live in the house. If at any time no one on the mortgage is now occupying that house, you then have to do something with it. Now an heir could refinance it out of that mortgage. They could sell the home and pay off the reverse mortgage. The mortgage company that is lending you the money does not want to own your house. It is not their desire to take that away from your heirs, and they have no ownership in it just through a typical reverse mortgage. You are not giving them your home. But once that house is no longer lived in by those parties, there is a window of time that you have to make a decision and either sell or refinance that house. If you can't get it done in that window, there's a second window that's a grace period. If at that point, which typically is between 6 and 12 months, they give you ample time to realize what you want to do with that house and get it taken care of.
Interesting. So are you seeing more and more of these with the baby boomers getting older?
We are.
Do you do these every month or?
There are companies out there who do a great deal of reverse mortgages. We do them from time to time, mostly for clients that have been with us over the years, and sometimes for people staying in their house. Hey, we've paid off our mortgage and we need some access to some of that capital. But a lot of times in a downsizing situation, Someone may sell, they might make $500,000 in the money that they from their sale. They might put all that on the purchase of a new $250,000 home, but they may only want to have access to that cash in the future. They may not need it today.
Wow, that's a lot to think about.
It is.
So I would suggest any of you who want to know more about reverse mortgages, certainly give me a call. We can put you in touch with Michael Weber. And if you're in that stage of life that you're downsizing, call me. There's so much to talk about. There's so much that goes into it. And as a real estate agent, I have lots of resources, Michael Weber being one of my primary ones. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeanie.
That was great information.